our next speaker. Wow. This is someone who's very close friend of ours in the UK denim industry. She's very well known and a bit of a celebrity as well when it comes to the denim mills. All the denim mills want to work with Salli, and we're very lucky and to have her for our 20-minute sort of segment. And Salli, you're in your loft, you're in your denim room, which is quite exciting. So yeah, I won't say much more, but Salli's awesome, and thank you so much for your time, Salli. I know you've been working on this presentation for a while and juggling many different hats, so thank you for your time. And maybe introduce yourself, and then off you go.
Hi Motion, nice to see you as always. I don't know about a celebrity, troublemaker more like, but anyway. So sorry everybody. Hi, I'm Salli. I'm a product developer based in the UK. I've been working in the industry for quite a long time. Most of the companies I've worked for are British retailers or brands. I started my career with Wrangler and Lee, but then I've worked with a lot of retailers over the last 20 years. So I'm very proud to say, in a way, that I work in fast fashion. These days it's considered a really bad industry and there's a lot of waste. So I want to talk to you about how I consider approaching product development for these companies and how I try and address things and make it slightly better. So we do work in a society where customers don't want to pay anymore, especially coming out the other side of a pandemic. People definitely don't want to pay anymore. Workers around the world need a regular income, and we need to make sure our business is consistent to give them a regular income. If there's no volume, there wouldn't be a denim industry, unfortunately. The factories rely on us to produce good orders, good sales. The denim industry rose to the challenge to become more sustainable about a decade ago, and I think it's done it really well. They've given us all the tools to make responsible denim. As you heard from Elite, I see them machines all over the world, and they've become better and better every year and more water saving. So the tools are there for us to use. We just have to understand them. And I believe as a product developer, it's our responsibility. We have this job, this incredible job to create some brilliant product. So it's our responsibility to make sure we make the right choices and consider all the aspects of the product. And over the last few years, I think it's extremely important to consider the sustainable development goals. This is something we're all working to, because if somebody isn't being fed or somebody doesn't have water, what is the point in any of us doing anything? So yeah, this is me. These are some of the companies I've worked for. As you can see, I set up a process at ASOS, working with all the laundries to reduce the water consumption, working with the mills to make the fabrics more laser and wash responsive. And I also work for Marks and Spencer's, again with Bangladesh primarily, but with the big suppliers to make the products, the affordable products, more conscious. So we knew how they were dyed, we knew how they were made. We started to work with recycled polyester. There's better solutions since then, but we started to really consider how the products were being made and work very, very closely with our suppliers. So I believe in engineering the product into not only price point, but into sustainability. So my advice to you is roll your sleeves up. I question everything. I learn from the experts, and some of them will tell you I drive them mad. And I always respect the science. So if I'm in a factory and I see something I don't know, I tend to ring up the company and say, how does this work? Or if I see a chemical in the factory, I ring up somebody like Miguel and say, what's this chemical? How does it work? So I really believe in researching everything and finding solutions. So a quick little summary of how I would approach it to try and make it simple for you is know your material. The first thing we need to know is the fabric. Is it healthy? Is it responsible? Is it laundry friendly? So these are the categories I would look at, 7 areas. I'd look at where my cotton's coming from, what other fibers I can put in the fabric, recycled, if there's an opportunity to have that content. How has it been dyed? A very important part of the process. How's the fabric being finished? The fabric performance, and then the shade selection. So those are key things I would look through. I'll talk through each of them. The cotton source, where's it from? We have so many choices. Obviously, BCI cotton has been around a long time. Marks and Spencer's ride on the BCI marketing. But we also have organic cotton. As you know, Andrew, I'm sure, and his team have shared that less than 1% of the world's cotton is organic. So we're on a big journey to move towards better cotton. There's E3, And also cotton made in Africa. I did a big project with the lovely DDI in Mauritius, who buy a lot of cotton made in Africa for ASOS. And it's a great product using slightly less water. So understand what cotton is going into your fabric. Other fibers, can we actually re-engineer the fabrics now with other fibers? Motion's just done a great project with Navina with hemp. So there's a lot of mills now starting to introduce hemp into the fabric. It's not the cheapest, but it's a great solution. It's fast growing, improved water consumption. But there are other things, Refibra and Tencel. We've been using Tencel for many years. Lenzing have incredible forests that are self-generating. So again, this is a fibre we can introduce and use in a much more sustainable way. There are so many fibres, there's too many to list, but understand the choices. And also most of the mills now are adding 20% pre or post consumer waste. So can the mill do this? Can you ask for this in your fabric? I frequently ask for, what the capabilities of the mill are. And if they have this, every mill just about will have pre-consumer and be using their own waste. But many of the mills now are buying in post-industrial. And obviously there's a few complications, but we can ask and try and introduce that into our fabric where possible. There's new fibres on the market, like we've been working with Reprieve recycled poly bottles for quite a long time. And now you have solutions like Ziclo, which is an additive into the polyester, which is promoting biodegradability into polyester. I believe that's a key game changer going forward. And brands like Royoka, who are doing sustainable rubber-based elastanes. The dyeing method, every mill has its own technology, and many of the mills have invested in some incredible equipment to enable better dyeing. So we need to consider the dye stuff we use, how much water has been used in the process, sulfites, aniline, and the dye penetration. A lot of the mills now are dyeing with a ring dyeing method, so we can penetrate with the laser machine much faster and be much more efficient in laundry. So there's just a few on here. There's an image of the Pearl River from quite a few years ago, which showed how the dye pollution was affecting China and the people that live there. And we have to prevent that and work with the mills and the suppliers to ensure the effluent treatment is good and nothing is happening like this again. So here you've got Revelation Blue from Prosperity. They're using 72% less water. There's no anilines in dyeing and no hydrosulfite. We've got Crystal Clear, which Artistic Milners did with G-Star a few years ago, which again was a great project, changing the way they dye the fabrics. And then there's been the dry indigo from Royo, which is foam dyed. So your water content is down to nearly zero. There are so many methods out there. Just understand the technology and research with the mill. How has the fabric been finished or the yarn been finished? Again, we're working with Candiani, work with Kitatex. So you have sizing that's coming from food waste. You've got natural organic polymers as well. We can have Vegesan, we can have different compounds to finish the fabric. And then one of the game changers recently we've seen is the G2 Dynamic, which is the ozone finishing machine from Gina Loggia, which has gone into many of the mills. So, oh, couldn't you see my screen? Sorry. The G2 Dynamic, which finishes the fabric with ozone, it helps with backstaining issues, but it helps prepare the fabric for the laser treatment. And now we're starting to see laser boosters and laser smoothers actually going into fabric as well, not only being used in laundry, but actually going into the fabric and the finishing process to make the fabrics more responsive to the laundry process. I believe this is the future of the way we'll make fabrics and make laundry more efficient. So understand the fabric performance. I work with lots of retailers and brands that don't check the fabric data sheet, check for growth, check for performance, check for your tensile strength. Make sure you understand that the fabric will respond to the laundry in the right way. What's the width? What's the shrinkage? And then the shade selection. We have so many shades out there. Make sure you're starting with the right shade to have the least impact in laundry. So obviously, if you're going to do a very light bleach, if we can get enough abrasion, start with a quarter dip, a lighter shade of the indigo, avoid the sulfurs. So a lot of the mills and a lot of the companies I would work with would use a dark indigo base to try and wash a really wide spectrum. But I think in terms of volume, we're starting to step away for that, because there's no way you want to waste all the energy on a really dark indigo to wash down to a light shade. So how you choose your shades for the project you're working on is really important. And then know your laundry. What equipment's available? how is the wet and dry processing made, and what chemicals do I need to create my wash? So for me, the two go hand in hand. You have to prepare the fabric to suit your laundry process, know what you've chosen, and then we look at the laser technology, how we dry it, how we can apply chemicals if we need to, stone alternatives, the machines we're using, can we use cloud technology, and greener chemicals. So laser, I'm sure you're all very familiar with now. I've seen this technology evolve dramatically over the last decade. We started with very basic templates, and now we're seeing some incredible kind of templates and some artists, really amazing graphic artists producing templates. The more character we put in, the more effect we put in the beginning, the less processes we probably have to do in laundry. But we need to test our fabric, make sure it really responds for the laundry. So this is the LSF from Genealogia. So if I choose a fabric, I would always ask for this test first to make sure the fabric is going to perform as we need it to. So machines, again, there are so many choices with machines out there, as you can see on here, following Elite. There's lots of big blue boxes for Tonello. I always get a smile on my face when I see one of these in the laundry. So this one has the up technology. So we're spraying in the chemicals. We've got the nebulizing system, and we have the core function. So chemicals can be inserted into the machines in a different way to minimize our use. This is a Smartex box. I see that a lot in Bangladesh as well, which has got a very, very fast hydro extraction, but also it's very efficient. And how we measure the water, again, Elite has explained the metro system from Tornello, which details how much water consumption, how many chemicals, etc. There's many opportunities out there, but walk around a laundry if you can get in one, have a look at the equipment and understand how it works. It's going to make it better for you to make the right choices. I put in hydro extraction. This is just one machine, but obviously the pickup is really important on the fabric, and how we hydro extract, again, to reduce the water, less water in drying is going to be more impactful on our sustainable score. Robot spray, this is a method machine I saw at ITMA. So it's the latest technology with robots. We're starting to see this appear more and more in factories. Huge investments are being made by the factories on this technology. So this is a great little guy, and I don't think it'll play now, I'm in a PDF, but anyway, the machine sprays in a concealed environment, preventing any hazardous fumes. And yeah, we can keep all the effects with permanganate, but in a safe and controlled environment. And then drying, I'm sure you've all seen the photos of Cytex drying the jeans up in the ceiling, up in the heat, using what's available in the factory in a very efficient way. So it reduces our drying time in the machines. So again, you're saving energy, you're saving time. The nebulizing system, the cloud technology, again, this is where we're washing with a fine mist or a fog. So again, the water has been reduced dramatically. How the chemicals are needed to perform on this in this environment needs to be considered. So you have to work hand in hand with the chemical company to make sure you have the right products in the machine that work in the low water ratio environments. So yeah, this is, I believe most of the machines will have this technology now through a core system, or even we're starting to see ozone being used in wash as well. So ozone is generated and put in the machine, again, for the bleaching, like you heard from Elite about their O-bleaching technique. And the chemical producers, everybody has different alternatives now. Here are some of the green chemical companies. So I've recently been working with the guys at Hub 1922 on some new chemicals that they're about to launch at Kingpins, which are very exciting. But they all have solutions. They have a product called Hydro, which is a bleaching enzyme without all the harmful hydrochloric. So again, the trials we did, the results were incredible. We got really good highs and lows really quickly. Near Chemica as well, an excellent Italian chemical producer operating all over the world, producing really good chemical solutions. So all these people are out there. They have a website you can go on, you can look at the product, you can find the safe alternatives, you can find their sustainable initiatives. And Officina, I think yesterday they were talking about their Recron product, so where they're extracting dyestuffs from waste. There are some amazing opportunities out there. Listen and learn from the chemists. And then stone alternatives, we've all been trying to move away from pumice. There are many alternatives now. There's fake stones, or just the enzymes alone can start to produce some really great highs and lows if you're working with the right fabric and the right product. And then these little guys, the gecko stones we were working with last week in Italy, which are more like a pad. And again, they create a different effect on the surface. So this slide I've added in because this isn't perfect by any means. A lot of denim people will probably criticize this, but this is an approximate amount of steps that we were taking to produce a jean. I know there's a couple in the wrong order, so I apologize to the experts out there, but this shows how we move from dry to finishing the garment. I do some training and presentations. I actually went into Burberry and I went through all the technical stuff, and they actually wanted to come back to this slide because they said, can you just go through all the basic steps again? Which I was quite amazed to hear. But anyway, it shows that we forget how many processes we actually do run in a laundry. And this can go up to many, many more, but this has the dry step, the whisker chevron, the marking, the hand sanding, the tagging, enzyme effects, the bleaching effect, all the processes we have done traditionally and manually over the years, right down to adding resin and 3D. So with all the sustainable processing, we're able to reduce that down to about 5. Again, it depends on the wash. There's lots of parameters here, but we have moved away from that really big manual process into a much more sustainable and efficient process. So if you have a pre-treated jean, and then the laser process is taking up quite a few different effects now, especially as we start to treat the fabrics or use boosters or use new products to help the laser respond much quicker and more efficiently. The costs coming down as well, and we're starting to see more dramatic effects on the fabric, which again are offset with other processes later in the chain. The wash process is all done in a a closed environment, so working with ozone, green chemicals, nebulizing the fogs, this kind of thing. And then you're finishing and adding a few steps at the end if you want a 3D or whatever. But it's a much, much shorter time in terms of workload that we're having to do. So this is a little guide I've used with a lot of the retailers. It's really basic, but it just shows you a very simple way of measuring sustainability and making sure you're reducing your impact and the choices you can make. Obviously, if you're doing a dark jean, you're not going to use as many chemicals, you're not going to use as many processes. So it's going to have a really low impact. But our job is to get these high impact jeans down here done in a very low impact way. So we have measurement tools that help us, the EIM score from Genealogia or the Metro score from Tornello, but these help us follow and test the fabrics to see how much water, how much energy, how many chemicals we're using. So it's a really good guide, but here, these are the challenges we have to try and make this now into low impact through the processes I've told you about. So just remember, we're responsible for the design and the development and the choices we make. The choices we make will impact the factory laundry, the factory production. So we have to understand those ourselves to make sure we do make the right choices to make an efficient and sustainable garment. Work together, I believe in that. But the one thing through lockdown, which was the hardest, was being at home and stuck on our own and not interacting with other people in the industry. Definitely 2, 3, 4, 5 heads are better than one, and we will all solve the problems. Understand the processes you're requesting. That is the most important thing. Don't ask for something you don't know how it works and the impact it's going to have on your supplier. Research and question everything. So there's a lot of marketing out there, but it's not all. There is some greenwashing going on, but find out the facts and find out what works for your developments and your factories, and make wise decisions and consider the sustainable development goals above all else. So this is a little checklist. You can download this hopefully on the Transformers site, but basically I would tick through these or work with the retailers to make sure every area is ticked on a development, so you know exactly what you are producing and what you're developing. So yeah, hopefully that's useful to all of you. So I wish you luck on your journey into denim. It's an incredible industry and we love it very much, and we're all here to help you if you have questions. Is that okay? Was I about on time, Motion?
You're superb. It's always fun listening to you, and obviously I've known you for many years, and it's always so fun seeing from your point of view. Obviously, you're a designer, you're a developer, you're more hands-on. You're probably one of the most hands-on people that I know, who literally rolls up your sleeve, and you're happy to travel, and you're happy to understand the chemicals and understand the machinery. And I say that as well to other to designers who sew. If you don't understand the machinery you're working with, how can you be a designer, really? Because you're you know, it's just like, for me, it's about the machines, how I make it, but you go right into the depth of the washing side of it, and that's actually awesome.
I don't do your side of it. You do the machines. You do the sewing side of
I
it, which
know,
is
but
incredible. That's where I'm weak.
We're
So
like the same coin, but one half of, you know, where one, it's like, you know, a good design and understanding about different ways of making, and then how to finish it. And it's two sides of the same coin, really. And yeah, you know, you can have an amazing garment, but it's washed terribly, or you can have a terrible garment that's washed amazing. It's really quite strange how our industry works. I find it's really amazing now that I'm finding a lot of fabrics that are laser friendly, which is amazing. Like, literally, they have tags saying these fabrics are laser friendly, and that's awesome, right? Especially for you and me, who we develop washes for a living, to go straight to the laser friendly fabrics. And that's also for like developers to think about it more, develop more laser friendly fabrics, right?
absolutely. I think, yeah, it's been like a journey for the industry. We developed the machines that use less water, and now the fabrics are really starting to respond. They're changing the way they dye it, they're changing the way we spin it, the way the dye uptake takes, the dye stuff. But yeah, now adding products in to accelerate the process in laundry, it's definitely a game changer. So everything we can do up front that we save at the back end. Yeah. So you and I both saw those trials from ActiCell. That's a really exciting product. There's others on the market. There's like laser smoothers and things. But yeah, those kind of products are definitely the next story we're going to hear in terms of fabric treatments. Very exciting.
And just ending on like recycling, which we're going to go into right now with our friends at AFM. But you know, that's also been a game changer for the last 6-7 years. All the mills, all our mill friends have been heavily investing into that and really believe in it, which is quite exciting. And you and I have both been seeing quite a lot of that and encouraging all our mill partners to try and put slightly more recycled elements into our fabrics. So yeah,
no, definitely. We started with like 5% or something, I think, when we first started asking for it, and everybody was worried about tensile strengths and things, but some of the mills are really able to put 40-50%. It depends on the fabric, depends on the construction, but yeah, it's become the norm, which is really good. I don't know many mills that don't offer this now, so it's really good.
Salli, our time has run out, but everyone here, we're going to be sharing all of the recordings early next week. We're going to clean them up and put nice titles like at the front of them, and they'll be on the Transformers Foundation YouTube and on the Learn Hub section of the Transformers website. Salli, you've been amazing. I'll let you get back to work now. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks everybody. Thank you, Motion. Take care.
Thank you.